I still remember the patient who changed the way I talk about fruit. Her name was May, 78, a retired piano teacher with a smile that could tune a whole room. She set a cloth grocery bag on my desk and said, "I eat clean, doctor, mostly fruit." Inside were mangoes as golden as sunrise, a family-sized tub of 100% juice, and a pouch of dates. Her blood sugar had crept up, her waist had thickened, and her energy felt like a battery stuck at 1 bar. She'd traded cookies for fruit and couldn't understand why she wasn't lighter. That day, I realized we'd done a poor job of teaching the difference between fruit that heals and fruit that hijacks, especially after 65, when metabolism shifts, hormones quiet, and muscles need different signals than they used to. Before we begin, a clear boundary. This video is for educational purposes only and not medical advice. Please take what helps, then personalize it with your own clinician. And because this channel is a real conversation, tell me in the comments, how old are you and where are you watching from? I read your answers like postcards from a community determined to age powerfully and kindly. Tonight we're counting down 10 sections from 10 to 1. You'll hear 4 fruits I rarely recommend for most seniors when eaten the usual way, 4 fruits I love to see on your plate, and 2 silent fruit habits that decide which way the scale and your labs go. Each section ends with a simple fix. When we reach 3, I'll show you the nighttime habit that quietly rewrites morning glucose, and at 1, the single pattern that can turn even healthy fruit against you. Let's begin. 10. Mangoes, sunshine, and a sugar surge your morning doesn't need. I adore the taste of mango, but I respect what it does inside an older body. 1 medium mango carries a big load of natural sugars for a small volume. In the first 2 hours after eating, older adults often experience a sharper glucose rise than younger adults because insulin sensitivity declines with age. Clinical work in Diabetes Care 2019 and related metabolic studies show that frequent high glycemic load exposures worsen insulin resistance over time, especially when paired with low morning protein. Add postmenopausal shifts, less estrogen-protecting vessels and muscle, and the same mango smoothie that felt harmless at 40 can nudge belly fat in triglycerides at 70. Harold, 72, a retired park ranger, blended a mango with juice for vitamins most mornings. His A1C drifted into prediabetes, and his afternoon slumps were legendary. We didn't ban flavor, we changed format. He moved the mango to a small wedge with lunch on days he'd been active and swapped the smoothie for Greek yogurt with berries. Within 3 months, his A1C softened and his naps shortened. Fix. If you love mango, keep the portion petite and pair it with protein and fiber. Think a few slices after an omelet or stirred into plain yogurt, not as a solo blended sugar surge. The next fruit is even trickier because it looks like a portable energy bar from nature while delivering the calories to match. 9. Dates and very sweet dried fruit. Nature's candy, still candy. Drying concentrates sugar and shrinks portion size until 3 or 4 bites rival a dessert. Dried dates, figs, and raisins deliver minerals and fiber, yes, but they also pack dense fructose and glucose without the water that slows intake. A 2018 analysis in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition linked higher intake of sugar-dense foods, dried fruits among them, to increased total energy intake in older adults because satiety lags behind calories when food is concentrated. For people with diabetes or prediabetes, small dried fruit portions can fit. The trouble is that a few quickly becomes a handful. Mavis, 79, a retired letter carrier, kept a pouch of dates by her recliner for clean snacking. She'd pop 2 during a show, then 2 more at the next commercial. Her fasting glucose climbed, so did her nighttime heartburn. We did a taste test, 3 dates versus a sliced apple with peanut butter. The apple took longer to eat, filled her mouth with water and crunch, and actually satisfied her. She kept dates for baking, not grazing. Fix. Treat dried fruit like a spice, not a snack. Chop 1 or 2 dates into a salad or oatmeal and reach for whole, water-rich fruit when you want something sweet. If concentrated sugar is one side of the trap, hidden potassium can be the other for certain seniors. The next fruit is a friend to many, but not to every kidney. 8. Bananas. Perfect for some, problematic for others. A single banana brings potassium, vitamin B6, and convenient energy. For healthy kidneys, that potassium helps blood pressure and muscles. But in chronic kidney disease or in those on medications that raise potassium, that same fruit can tip blood levels dangerously high. The Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology 2020 highlights hyperkalemia risk in CKD, with dietary potassium a common contributor when intake isn't individualized. On glucose side, bananas sit mid-glycemic, but ripeness pushes them sweeter and faster. Eleanor, 76, a retired florist with stage 3 CKD, ate 2 bananas daily for cramps. Her lab showed rising potassium and her EKG revealed early changes. A renal dietitian swapped bananas for lower potassium choices like berries and apples and addressed the cramp cause, low magnesium intake and dehydration. Her numbers normalized and her fear quieted. Fix. If your kidneys are healthy, a small banana paired with protein can be fine. If you have CKD or take certain heart meds, ask your clinician or renal dietitian which fruits fit your potassium plan. The next fruit isn't bad, but its acid and speed can overwhelm older digestion and blood sugar when the portion grows carefree. 7. Pineapple. Sparkle on the tongue, spike on the meter. Pineapple brings vitamin C and the enzyme bromelain, but also a brisk glycemic punch and bright acidity. In older adults with reflux, acidic foods can worsen symptoms. Gastroenterology cohorts report higher reflux frequency when evening meals lean acidic. On the glucose side, small controlled trials summarized in Nutrients 2020 show that higher glycemic fruits, eaten in large portions or on an empty stomach, drive higher post-meal spikes than lower glycemic fiber-dense options. Richard, 78, a retired electrician, ate a bowl of pineapple after dinner to avoid cookies. His heartburn worsened and his bedtime glucose rose. He shifted to a few pineapple chunks at lunch paired with cottage cheese and reserved evenings for berries or a pear. Reflux settled, sleep improved. Fix. Enjoy pineapple as a small accent at midday with protein, not a large late-night bowl. If reflux visits often, choose gentler fruits most days. Enough of the landmines. Let's fill the fridge with allies. The next 4 fruits are my daily go-tos for most seniors. 6. Blueberries and mixed berries. Small, dark, and mighty. If I could wave a wand and add one fruit to most plates after 65, it would be berries. They're rich in anthocyanins, the pigments that give deep color and act as antioxidants. In the Nurses' Health Study cohorts, higher berry intake was associated with slower cognitive decline. An Annals of Neurology analysis linked 2 or more berry servings a week with delayed memory aging by up to 2.5 years. Cardiometabolic studies in nutrients and circulation show improved insulin sensitivity and lower blood pressure with regular berry intake, likely via improved endothelial function and gut microbiome effects. Irene, 70, a retired history teacher, swapped her nightly cookie for a cup of mixed berries and a spoon of plain yogurt. It scratches the sweet itch, and I sleep better. Her morning glucose readings softened, her triglycerides dipped. Fix. Keep frozen berries on hand for price and convenience, and aim for a cup most days, on yogurt, alongside eggs, or blended into a smoothie with protein. From the forest bowl to the backyard tree, the next fruit carries fiber like a built-in brake. 5. Apples and pears, the quiet fiber workhorses. Apples and pears are not flashy, and that's their power. Their soluble fiber, pectin, slows glucose absorption, feeds beneficial gut bacteria, and helps lower LDL cholesterol. Large cohort analyses in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition associated higher apple-pear intake with lower risk of type 2 diabetes, independent of other lifestyle factors. For older adults battling constipation, their water and fiber combo is a kind friend. Samuel, 68, a retired bus driver, replaced his afternoon biscuit with a sliced pear and a handful of walnuts. He noticed fewer evening cravings and more regular mornings. "I didn't know steady could feel this good," he told me. Fix. Eat your apples and pears with the skin on for maximum fiber. Pair with protein or healthy fat, cheese, nuts, or peanut butter to make the snack last. If apples steady the line, the next fruit can polish the pipeline, delivering blood to your brain and heart. 4. Pomegranate arils, seeding your arteries with protection. Pomegranates are loaded with polyphenols, especially punicalagins, that support vascular health. A classic clinical study in Clinical Nutrition, 2004, followed older adults with carotid artery plaque. A year of daily pomegranate juice was associated with reduced carotid intima media thickness and lower systolic blood pressure. Later trials and mechanistic studies suggest improved nitric oxide bioavailability and antioxidant effects on the vessel lining. Edward, 72, a retired machinist, swapped his soda for sparkling water splashed with pomegranate juice and sprinkled arils over salads. His stairs feel shorter, he joked, after his stamina improved and his systolic pressure eased with other lifestyle changes. Fix. Choose the fruit itself, arils, or a small splash of 100% juice diluted with sparkling water. Keep portions modest and drink juice with meals, not alone. Now to a fruit that too many Western kitchens overlook, even though it behaves like a multivitamin with a gentle glycemic footprint. 3. Guava. Fiber, vitamin C, and a steady hand on glucose. Guava is an unsung hero. One fruit can exceed the daily vitamin C target, and its fiber slows digestion beautifully. Small clinical studies in nutrition and metabolism and public health data in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging suggest improved glycemic control and lower blood pressure markers with guava intake or guava leaf tea in older adults. Its glycemic index sits comfortably low compared with many tropical fruits. Joyce, 67, a retired seamstress, discovered guava at an international market, slicing it over cottage cheese with a drizzle of lime. She loved the crunch and the way her glucose meter barely flinched. She said, "It's my new apple." Fix. Add guava as a crisp snack or salad topping. If you use guava juice, dilute and pair with protein to blunt glucose rise. We've covered sugar speed, fiber breaks, and artery polishers. Now we need to talk about 2 fruit habits that decide whether any of this works, starting with what you sip. 2. Fruit juice versus whole fruit, the fiber factor that makes or breaks. Juice wears a health halo. It also removes the fiber that tells your gut and brain to slow down. Meta-analyses in BMJ and Circulation report higher diabetes risk with fruit juice intake, but a lower risk with whole fruit, particularly berries, apples, and pears. Mechanistically, fiber changes everything. It slows gastric emptying, reduces glucose peaks, and feeds microbes that generate short-chain fatty acids linked to improved insulin sensitivity. Margaret, 65, a retired bookkeeper, ditched her morning orange juice for a whole orange and water. Over 6 months, with no other breakfast changes, she lost 12 pounds and watched her A1C drift out of the danger zone. She laughed, "I chewed my way to better numbers." Fix. Chew your fruit and drink your water. If you choose juice, make it a small portion with a meal or dilute it half and half with sparkling water. Even if you chew, timing still matters. The final habit turns nighttime sweetness into morning struggle or not. Nighttime fruit grazing and the morning after. Bodies handle sugar differently at night. Insulin sensitivity dips as evening deepens, and late eating is tied to higher next-day glucose in older adults. Controlled studies in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism and Circadian Metabolism Research show that late caloric intake, especially fast carbs, leads to higher nocturnal glucose and blunted morning fat burn. Swapping a late-night fruit bowl for an earlier anchored dessert can make a disproportionate difference. Beatrice, 73, a retired nurse, ate grapes and pineapple while watching television at 10 p.m. Her fasting glucose ran stubbornly high despite good days. We moved sweetness to after lunch or early dinner and paired it with protein. Within 2 weeks, her sunrise numbers softened by 10 to 15 milligrams per deciliter. She said, "Same fruit, different clock, different body." Fix. Put sweet fruit earlier in the day and pair it with protein or fat. After dinner, reach for herbal tea or a square of dark chocolate if fruit tends to wake your reflux. After 65, fruit is still your friend, if you choose and time it like a wise friend. Fast, concentrated sugars from mangoes and dried fruit, large portions of pineapple late at night, and high potassium bananas in the wrong kidneys can tilt labs the wrong way. Berries, apples, pears, pomegranate, and guava bring fiber, polyphenols, and calm curves on your meter. Juice loses the fiber break. Whole fruit keeps it. Nighttime sweetness writes tomorrow's numbers. Earlier anchored fruit writes steadier ones. Change the count, the clock, and the company you keep with your fruit, and your body will feel the difference. These aren't food rules meant to shame you. They're gentle dials you can turn. A cup of berries and yogurt for breakfast, an apple with cheese instead of a date pouch by the chair, pomegranate arils sprinkled over a salad, a guava you slice because you're curious, mango saved for a few slices with lunch on a walk day, juice traded for water you love to drink, and a kitchen that goes dim after dinner so tomorrow's glucose wakes up kind. I've watched women in their 70s and 80s change nothing dramatic except the fruit, the timing, and the pairing, and felt lighter in 3 weeks than they had in 3 years. Now it's your turn. How old are you, and where are you watching from? And tell me honestly, have you made one of these mistakes, and which fix will you try this week? I read every comment because your story may be the exact nudge another woman needs tonight. If this helped, please like the video so more seniors see it, and subscribe for more science-based senior health tips. Share it with a friend who loves fruit and deserves to love it wisely. Your body isn't betraying you. It's listening. Give it the right fruit at the right time in the right company, and it will thank you at any age. I'm Dr. Sarah. Thank you for trusting me with 20 minutes of your day and with the hope that every bite can bend the curve toward strength.